What's up, peeps? It's Friday, 1st of March. My name's Ian. I sell books on eBay. It's pretty early in the morning at the moment still. It's just about 20 past 8, so I've got a lot to do today. It is the first of the month, so I need to tidy up all the accounts and everything for February, which means we'll be able to take a wee look at just how good a month or how bad a month February was on eBay. Perception and reality, and perception has felt like it's been a bit of a slow month, so it'll be interesting to see the reality and see how much money's actually been made selling books on eBay for a few hours a day, 7 days a week, all month. So I'm always intrigued when I get to this point to see if it's been worth my while or not. Well, even if it hasn't, I'll still keep doing it, but that's beside the point. Going to look at the sales. I've got 9 going out today and a nice wee mix. Mostly bundles, but a couple of individual books which I've sold for a couple of quid. And also, one of you guys has asked that I give their eBay store a wee bit of a shout out. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is go in and take a look at their store, share it with you guys, see what people are doing in their business, see what they're selling, and it'll give you hopefully a bit of insight into what other people are doing rather than just what I do, selling books. So we'll get to all of that in a wee while. But for now, let's just look at some sales, yeah? Let's get them done. First up, we have one of the pre-made bundles that I've started doing quite recently, and it's a bundle of 5 Anne Cleeves hardcover books. So hardcovers, they sell, but they don't sell brilliantly in the variation listings or on their own. So I've been making them into bundles to see if things go. And a few are beginning to sell. So that's the first one that's gone out, and that went for $16.99. So quite nice. And then the second one, maybe $16.99, that is including postage, and it's going to cost me about £6.50 to post that. So in reality, it's like a £10 sale. So, you know, it's still only like £1 a book type thing that we're making. The next one is another pre-made bundle. This time it's paperbacks, but I just found 3 of these Raymond Chandler books in really good condition. So I just bundled them up as a lot. It's books 1, 2 and 6 in whatever edition that is. And the 3 of them sold for $8.99, again including postage. So that's the 2 pre-made bundles that have gone out in the last 24ish hours. Next up, we have a single book, Erin Hunter, Warriors. So I sold a wee box set of her books just the other day, the ones about the dogs, but this is the ultimate guide to warriors, and it's all about the kitty cats. So she's written a couple of series on these books, and this is actually a really nice book. So if you're into cats or the Erin Hunter series, it's really, really lovely. I'm quite impressed with how it looks. It's not something I would have myself, but it is a really nice book if you're into that, and that sold for $10.99, including the postage. Next, we have another little bundle. Running low on these, I really need to find some more. Val McDermott. I did pick up a couple of these through the week, listed them, and 2 of them have sold actually in that bundle. So 3 Val McDermott, How the Dead Speak, Ta-da! The Distant Echo, and Past Lying, and the 3 of them went for £9.99. So let's move on. Another single book. Had this for months. Graphic novels. When I see them, I pick them up. This is a Hatsune mix, unofficial Hatsune mix. I don't really know what any of this is, but it's very nice. And it sold for £10.89. So another nice wee sale. Right. Another bundle. These went really cheap. It's another author that I've had a few of for a while. They weren't going anywhere, so I just packed them down to like $1.99 each, plus postage, but buy 2, get 1 free. Robert Goddard. So Panic Room, Blood Count, and The Ends of the Earth. Now that I've had a sale on that listing, unfortunately I've only got 1 or 2 of his books left, but if I see a bundle today, I will pick them up, get them added to that, and hopefully there'll be a wee bit of life breathed into that listing. So £7.97 for those 3 books. Not a great sale, but it'll be 3 odd quid to post them, so I'll still make a couple of pounds on it. So can't complain. Next, actually the next 2 are all from one author. Excuse me a moment. Oh, coffee's so good. We're on the Friends mug today. I don't intentionally have a different mug every day. I don't intentionally have any of these things that are there, but you know, don't know what it's like in your house, but I've got about 40 different mugs in the cupboard, so you just grab whatever one's going. Today it's Friends. Right, we have 3 Delacourt paperbacks. This is becoming my best seller at the moment. The Constant Heart, Tilly True, lovely bit of alliteration, and The Summer Maiden. And the 3 of those went for £9.99. And then the final sale to show you today, sorry, second last sale to show you today, was a bundle of Delacourt, 5 this time. So the 3 went for £9.99, the 5 £12.99. So there's not much more money coming in selling that extra book. It's an extra 3 quid for 2 extra books going out there. But as long as these are only costing me 25, 30 pence, then it's an extra 50p out to make an extra £1. And that's absolutely fine with me. You know, money is money. But this little bundle, we've got Dolly's Dream, Rag and Bone Christmas, Winter Wedding, The River Maid, and A Mother's Secret. So Dilly, if you're out there, get in touch. I'd love to say hello and say thank you for making me 10, 20 quid a week just to pay for some school uniforms. Another 5 Delacourts, like I say, £12.99 for those 5. One more order. The last of the Red Hot Lovers, or not the last, just last of the Red Hot Lovers, Neil Simon. So it's the play. I see it, plays, anything like that. I usually do pick them up when I see them, especially if they're in quite good nick. They don't typically sell for a lot of money, just like this one, but they do sell, and they tend to be quite light and easy. So that is going to be large letter. Probably just too big for a normal letter, but it'll only be large letter to post it out, and that's why I sold that for £4.99. Free the postage, as Welsh Pokey Picker would say. So yeah, £4.99. That's the final sale of the day. Welsh Pokey Picker, I like his channel. There's something very wholesome, organic about what he does with his stuff. Yeah, worth checking him out. Anyway, that's today's sales. The total value of that is a wee bit down on previous days. Was that a pause for dramatic effect, or just me drinking my coffee before it goes cold? I'll let you decide. But yeah, £93.79 for that lot. 9 parcels. One of them's going to be a biggie, the Anne Cleves. So we're looking at about £33-35 in postage, which keeps it within my usual parameters. A third to eBay, a third in postage, and a third back in profit to the business. So 30 quid. Not great for a day's work, but 30 quid that I wouldn't have if I didn't do this. Keeping that in mind, I finished up my February what I want to achieve sheet. So we ended up from the 19th to the 29th of February hitting our 320 target every day bar 2. Yesterday I only got 289 listed. I just ran out of time, and I'm trying to kind of stop at the end of the day rather than keeping picking away at things through the evening. I want to do things in a day. So yesterday we only did 289, and on the 26th 293, but every other day, you know, surpassed 320 total a couple of days up into the 400s, so more than achieved what we wanted the daily target to be on average across the piece. And now I need to take that into March and see if keeping this approach up does make a difference to overall sales. Now, cautions within that: if I just list everything and anything, I could quite easily hit that target every day, but would I make any sales? I don't know. So it is being a bit picky about what gets listed. As I mentioned before, my first priority every day is list up all of the bread and butter variation listing books, because I can do them really quickly. I know that they sell, so there's no sense in not getting them listed fast. So that gets a good value on the day. It's quick to do, and they've got a reasonable sell-through rate. So I don't think any books are fast sellers unless it's something incredibly rare and you price it incredibly low. But that's my bread and butter part of it. So it'll be good if that can account for a third to half every day of my listing value. After that, I have bundles that I've been making up. So some of the hardcover books spoke about earlier on, the likes of those Anne Cleves, a few other authors where I've had a bundle of the hardcovers, but they've not really been moving, so I'm turning them into bundles. I've got a stack of them to go. Yesterday I picked up another load of Mills and Boons, so I've got a few bundles of those to poo out. That was a bit of a Freudian. To put out, and some other kind of random little selections. So for example, I picked up some Beast Quest yesterday just to add to the listing, but on looking at it, it's actually the complete Series 10 in really nice condition, you know, unread. So I'll list them up just as a bundle on their own, see what we can get for them. We've got a wee stack of vintage crime, so I may put these up as an auction and just see how they go. There's a couple of books in there that are actually worth, you know, £8, £10, £12, but some that are really just £3, £4, so I'll stick the likes of that up and see how it runs. What else do we have here that may be going up today? A few other sets and series that I've picked up over a number of days. So we've got some Charlie Bone, and that's books 1 to 5. No idea what these are. They've got fairly average sale prices for the individual books, so we'll probably stack that up for a tenner and see what happens. And what else we got? This is just to show you the curiosity. Deborah Harkness, so I had one of her books in stock. I had a multi-listing for Deborah Harkness, took it down because I've got the complete set plus one spare of A Discovery of Witches. So because I've got 3 from the same edition, I'll list them up as a bundle as well and see how they go. Don't know what I'll price them at yet, I'll need to have a wee look, but it's not going to be expensive. These are all fairly small. And the other one that may be of interest is a stack of vintage Famous 5. Vintage. We have a stack of vintage Famous 5 novels dating back to the 1970s. I looked at a few dates on them. We've got 1974, 1980, various others there and about. So we stack of Famous 5, but including a Search for Treasure book. So that one of those choose your own adventure type books. So yeah, again, don't know what I'll list them for. It's not going to be for an awful lot, but we'll may auction them. I don't know. We'll stick them up and see how they go. So that's the kind of extras that I'm looking to list once I've done all the normie books. So all of my, you know, if I find some more James Herbert today, I'll be adding to the James Herbert listing, etc. So I am previously, those bread and butter variations, as soon as I got them in, I would just list them. So even if there was only one book for an author, I'd just go in and list it. But trying to be as efficient as possible with my time, I'm waiting until I've got, I'd love it to be half a dozen, but if I've got 3 or 4, depending on the author, I'm considering adding them into the listing just to keep moving through it. So I've got quite a few where I've got a couple of books by an author, and see if I can pick up some more by those authors today, then I'll get them added to the listings. Otherwise they will wait until they've got some buddies to go up and going. So yeah, that's a wee stack there. It's taking up space, so I need to decide how to get this better organised again. I've got a table with all of my bundles that I'm making up to go out, and I just work through them as I need them. And then I've got a stack at the back, which never used to be there, with all of these spare bread and butter authors. So when I get another pickup, I go in and add them into those various wee bundles and stacks until I've got enough to get them listed up. So we'll see how it goes. Oh, here's another one. Not sure what to do with these, but just randomly, 3 Judy Blume books. I remember these from when I was a kid because my big sister read them. Super Fudge. None of these, well, we've got Fudge-a-mania, so there's one Fudge book in there. They're, again, individually, they really don't sell for anything, but they're really good condition. What's the dates on them? So like $2.99, so that must be maybe in the 90s. Let's have a wee look, see if we can't see. So, 1988. So, again, originally written in 1974. God, that's 50 years old. 50 years old, that's the same age as me. So yeah, I'm going to stick these up as a bundle, I think, but we'll see how they go. But I see things like that and they have that wee kind of nostalgic curiosity. So I'll pick them up and then sit on them for months, try to decide what to do with them, or forgetting about them and then going, oh, I've got them, let's get them listed. So we'll see. Anyway, what all of this was leading towards was March. You won't be able to see that because it's just lots of little written bits. So to separate perception from reality as I go through the month, it's you know, you can go into your eBay stats, you know how much you're getting paid out every day, you can see all of these things, but I want to be able to keep a really close eye on how things are progressing. So stick it in a spreadsheet, but I find it better if I've got it in a bit of paper, it's always nearby, so I can always see what's going on and it always reminds me to do it. So rather than just having a listing target to add to this every day, like what I did for the end of February, I've got my listing target on it, I've got my buying target on it, and I've got a sales target on it. So the sales target is kind of out with my control, but I want to just monitor day on day what the value of sales are, so I can see at a glance how consistent that has been without having to go and look at the eBay dashboard. I can compare it to the other numbers that are in here. So my listing target for this month, I've decided to stretch it, so we're at 320 a day for running up to the end of February. I managed 2 days above £400, so I'm putting my daily listing target at 400. Now that is a stretch, I am going to struggle to reach that, I know, but I want to see how close I can get to it. So it's not unrealistic, and we'll just need to see how that pans out. And there will be days where I'll be able to go beyond that, and there'll be days where I'll be under that, but let's just see if it does average out over the piece. My buying target is I want to be spending £35 a day on good new stock. So that won't be every day. That'll be going out one day and maybe spending £100, another day spending 50 quid. You know, it'll balance out across the piece, but I want to keep a track and see just how much I am spending to be able to list that £400 worth a day, and it'll also give me a sense of excuse me, exactly how many days a week I am out spending time sourcing, and whether or not that makes it worth it, because I've got in here what I think I do, but the reality is probably different. Perception and reality, two different beasts. The sales, this last month, the month before that, my average sales have been, excluding postage, about £100 a day. With postage, they've been about £140 to £150 a day. So that's an average across the piece. So what I'm aiming for is £200 a day, including postage. So I've got a lot more free postage items up there just now, so it's kind of difficult to separate the two out. So I'm aiming for £200 a day in sales, including the postage going out. And if that goes with the 333, you know, 1/3 to eBay, 1/3 to postage, 1/3 to me, then that's hopefully between £50 and £70 a day profit coming back into the business. So that's what I want to track and monitor using this little sheet. So we'll see how that works out, and I'll keep referring back to it as the month progresses and decide whether or not it's adding any value to what I do, process wise, etc. So that's where we're at the moment. Like I say, it is end month, so we're having a wee look at how the month previously went, so see how February went on, and taking a wee look at someone else's eBay store, see what it looks like, see what kind of things they're selling, how does it compare to what I'm doing, what other people are doing. Yeah, we'll get to that shortly. Back again. It's been a few hours for me, but probably only seconds for you. I have been doing the books for the month, just making sure everything is where it needs to be, getting it all tidied up. And I thought I would share with just how profitable a month February has actually been. It's not felt great. It's definitely felt a bit slow and a bit sticky at times, but there's been quite a few good, consistent, typical days. And my average day, as I've said before, it's been round about £100 in sales plus postage on top of that. So about £150 a day in total with those two elements combined. A third to eBay, a third to the post office, and a third in profit coming back. So I've been through all my sales, I've been through all my postage, all the different fees that get paid, so on and so forth. And I can reveal that my total eBay sales, which is always different from what it shows you on the dashboard, so it's always worth, don't just use the dashboard for the number, because it adds stuff in and takes stuff out for lots of different reasons. But my total eBay sales equaled £3,836 for the 29 days of February. So it's not massive. I've never been kidding on to anybody that this is some huge business. Yes, you can scale it if you've got the capacity to do so, but I'm quite happy with that for what felt like a really slow month. What it also means is when I go into that, my average sale value was £12.42. So although I sell a lot of books for less than £3 each, the average sale value has still stayed high at £12.42. So that's the kind of the key number for me. If I can double the number of sales and keep that average, then it's working out very nicely indeed. Anyway, breaking it down a wee bit further, of that £3,836 in sales that came in, 1,400 went out in post, just shy of 1,100 went out on fees, and then another 60 quid on additional listing fees because I used up my allowance. And I spent about £525 on stock across the course of the month. So I didn't, first half of the month I wasn't picking up much at all, and then I began to scale that up as we've got into the last couple of weeks. So when I take all of that off of the first bit, it leaves me with, and I've kind of rounded up numbers here just for the sake of simple demonstration, or rounded down, I can't remember which way it went, but that leaves me with about £800 in profit coming out of the £3,836 worth of sales. So that's less than a third, but I'm not disappointed with that, because that third profit that I talk about in the day does include what I would still have to pay on packaging, stock, etc. So 800 plus 500 that I spent in stock keeps me at about that third profit every day coming back into the business. So that's okay. On top of that £800 profit, there is also, I had about £300 worth of non-eBay sales that came in as well. That's profit from non-eBay sales. So that takes me up to £1,100, and then my VAT rebate for the month will be round about £400 as well. So you don't pay VAT when you sell books, but you do have to pay VAT on your postage, on your eBay fees and all of these things, and you can claim that back from the VAT man if you're registered to do so, which I am. So that actually takes it up to a gross profit of about £1,500 for the month, which again, it's not even an income, let's be honest, but it does equate to about £50 a day across the 29 days of February, which is satisfactory for the amount of effort I have been putting in to doing this. The last week or so, I've been trying to put in a lot more time in developing the sales business, and that has seen an improvement over the last week. If that continues through March, then I would be very disappointed if that number at the end of March is still only £50 a day clearing, because that will not be worth it. That's working, minimum wage for a 12-year-old, never mind anything else. So this is all, it gives me a bit of context, gives me a bit of perspective. If no matter what I do, no matter what you do, no matter what I do, it stays at £50 a day in, net profit once everything else has been paid out, then I need to very carefully consider how much effort I do put into this. For £50 a day, I'm going to do a couple of hours, and that will include picking, packing, sourcing, listing. So that's where things will get a bit different and tricky. Over this month, where I've got high daily targets for everything, I'll be able to track just how much time it takes me to do that, and then I'll be able to equate at the end of the month whether or not it's worth my while putting that amount of effort into it. The other thing around all of this is, yes, I need to earn money from this. This goes towards paying the bills, so I can take a wage at the end of the month, hopefully. But I get out of the rat race because it was killing me. I do not want to do something that I don't enjoy and have to put in a ridiculous number of hours where I'm not enjoying it and not getting any satisfaction. Enjoy is maybe a strong word, but I've got to feel like I'm achieving something every day to make this worthwhile, as well as everything else. Otherwise, I'm as well going back to getting paid 60 grand a year to sit in an office, But that's fine at the moment. £100 a day would be £36,000 a year. So that's working out about 18 grand a year if I'm able to take all of that out as salary income from the business. So that's a good basis to start on. There's no issues with that, and that's every single day of the month. It's not just Monday to Friday. It is 365 days a year. That's that number at 50 quid, which is available for a wage coming in. So if it goes up to 60, 70, 80, 90, £100, then it becomes quite satisfactory. A couple of £100 a day, then I'm back where I was 2 years ago before I left the rat race. So that's how the sales have worked out. It does, for the first part of the month, work out very, very nicely, because I was literally doing a couple of hours a day, and that included making these videos. Second half of the month, it's nowhere near good enough, but we need to see how a full month goes, using the same process and the same effort every day, to see if that number does come up enough to justify everything that we're doing. Anyway, next up, I want to have a look at somebody's eBay store. So here we have it. Zenmeter, you need to tell us how that would be, you would want that pronounced. Zen's a subscriber to the channel, had asked if I could give him a bit of a shout out, and I figured let's go and have a look at his shop, and see what kind of things they've got going. Zen's North Glasgow, so not too far away from me, so there will be some Glasgow related items in here, I would imagine, and I'm seeing one straight away. So this is a general seller shop, there's no doubt about that. 1,100 items, that's quite a lot of stock. How many sales have you had? Sold over 1,000 items, that's pretty good. 36 followers, let's see if we can get that number up. Doesn't give us any more details about the store up there, but let's have a look at some of the nice stuff. That's definitely a bit wild, isn't it? Adidas, bit of a rainbow thing going on there. Right, let's see how he's got his listing set up so we can all have a nosy and see what's good. Nice picture up front, measurements, more measurements. Let's see the tags. Oh, it's everything that you would want to see on these things. That is definitely something I've never seen before, that one. 7p delivery. That's a bit different. Fits big for a medium, in good condition overall. Okay, that's quite interesting. 730 feedback from 1,000 items sold. That's pretty good. Let's go and see what else we've got here. Right, so the kind of stuff that you see in a lot of reseller shops, you know what you're competing with to get these things. If you price them well, you will make sales. So the Carlo Gruber cardigan, I have no idea if that's a good price, a high price, a low price for that particular item, but I'm sure Zen's done their research and knows exactly where it would be. A lot of these other bits and pieces we're seeing here they're a bit different, because you want to look for something that is a bit different, but for the most part it's still round about the bread and butter, except for the Celtic FC signed Lisbon Lions programme. £1,200. Wow, you've got some good stuff on there. So Lisbon Lions, they went and won the European Cup way back in 60-something, was it 67? Aye, 67, there it is there. So very popular for Celtic fans all over the world, but obviously a big deal in Glasgow. So lots of different memorabilia there relating to all of it. That's some really quite curious items on that lot. Celtic FC signed Lisbon Lions programme and historic memorabilia, 60 autographs, dispatched by Royal Mail, tracked 24. Right, I mean that's I'm not a Celtic fan myself, but I would want to see a lot more in that description, because that's a really particular item. You know, you're looking for £1,200. You can take some time. Can you catch what more of these autographs are, who they're from? You know, getting a bit more detail, because collectors will want very specific things, and there's quite a few easy to see names on there. I don't know who any of them are, I'll be perfectly honest, but you know, I'm sure there's quite a bit you could do to get that right. I mean, that says Tommy Boyd. Is that Tommy Boyd that was playing in 1947? No, that's obviously unrelated. Who else have we got on there? Charlie, John, Bobby Hogg. Anyway, I'm getting distracted just looking at that there. That's an interesting item. I would want to see a lot in the description before I was going to fork out £1,200 for that. You know, bang in as much detail as you can. I think that's for anyone. If you've got something that's a bit different, you go overkill with the detail in the description. You're asking for a lot of money, so people are going to want to know a lot before they fork out for that. Am I completely wrong in that? Let me know. But still a really, really nice item. Worth having a wee nosy at. If you're a football fan of any kind, you might recognise some of the names, players from the older days. What else have we got in here? So more Scottish stuff. Scotland Rugby, medium full zip, macaron zipper tracksuit top jacket. Royal stuff, crockery, some toys and cars. Again, the Crusade, I can never say that. They do sell very, very well if they're priced right. Again, I don't know if that's a high price, a low price, an on the money price, but it's a nice set, and if you price things like that properly, they do go very, very quickly. These little guys, that looks like a low price to me. You can pick up lots of nice cheap crockery in certain charity shops for 50p, a pound, a couple of quid, and turn them into a tenner quite easily. I'm guessing that free postage on a £6 sale for that's underpriced. I think that's going to be a difficult thing to pack safely. I use cat food boxes when I do these things. I used to sell mugs, so I mean, it's not a crazy good make, but if somebody has that set, they're going to pay more than £6 for those two parts to add it together. So I would be looking for a tenner plus postage at least on that. Might take a wee bit longer to sell, but at least you'll make some money on it. But yeah, in the past I've sold a lot of bits and pieces like that, and they do sell pretty well if you've got enough of them and you can sit on them for long enough to get them shifted. So yes, lots of interesting bits and pieces. Let's see, that's a good thing. Reseller shops, unlike mine, which is all books, the reseller shops are all a bit curious. It's amazing what people find out in the shops. And sometimes I think about going back and doing a wee bit more of them just to see what happens. Okay, let's look at the next page. I'm not going to look at all the pages here, I promise. We won't go through it all, but we'll see if we can get it to show us more per page and have a quick scroll through. Alright, that'll let us go to 72. Alright, I'll have a quick look at this, and then I'm just going to look at it by category and see what different kind of things we've got in here. So it's mixed them up a bit for me here, that's always good. So let's see if we can get past the stuff that we've already seen. The screen's a bit sticky, I don't know why it's taking so long to move around. It's all these pictures. And even just glancing through this, it's always good to look at other people's stores and what they're doing, just because it puts images in your mind, and when you're out and about looking for stuff yourself, you may see. There's one that I like, signed John Connolly. And is that the one I don't got? Yes, I don't have that one signed. Good find, good find. Oh, come on, screen roll. Alright, the screen's getting very sticky, so I don't think we'll be going on with this too much longer. We'll go into page 2 and then have a wee look at the categories Zen's got up and going. So definitely a few interesting bits and pieces in here. Definitely worth a wee browse. Well, there's Protestantism and capitalism. That's definitely a Glasgow thing, eh? Right, let's have a look at what he's got categories wise. What are we interested in? Let's go to toys and games. So this is what might be of interest to me. There's obviously the books, comics and magazines, but I'm going to go to that next. Let's just have a look at the toys and games and see what he's got up in there. Right, here we go. So we'll have seen some of these already, I've got no doubt. That's plushies. So yeah, some plushies sell okay, as most of you will know. Some don't. Elmer sells quite well, I've been made aware. What have we got? 007, Guns and Gadgets, Heroes and Villains. And yeah, and you'll see if a lot of this stuff is stuff that you will see in the stores all over the place. But again, I'm no comment on whether these are cheap, expensive, bang on the money. But you know, if that's the genuinely right price there for Princess Di Beanie Baby with tags, then that's one to keep an eye out for. Whereas the Peace beanie, though you're maybe happy taking the £7 off it, it's definitely in a different class. So having a nosy at people's stores is very good for doing these things. Yeah, some Christmas bits and bobs in there. Men in Black, bit of Star Wars, always some Disney. So yes, there's your toys and games. Right, let's have a quick nosy at the books and then we'll leave Zen's store alone and let you all go in and have a nosy. So books, obviously books are my thing. It's what I'm interested in, so it is always worth having a wee nosy to see what kind of things I might see out there that I would ignore normally. So, you know, £20 books. Signed John Mills book, that's quite nice. 20 quid. What else have we got? So where is it? He had the John Connolly. Aye, there it is there. So 17 quid for a John Connolly. There's the other one, £16. So I've struggled to get that money for signed John Connollys in the past. It really is a waiting game with that. Wait for the right person to come along who wants to go out and spend it. I found John Connolly's, for me, and I've not had those ones there like that available to sell, but looking kind of 12 quid seems to be what I'm able to get out of them, which is one of the reasons I've decided just to keep them. We've got a signed Rankin. I thought that was a signed Harry Potter for a second, but it's just a first edition, second print. Just, you know what I mean. A wee bit more signed Rankin. I've never found much in the way of signed Ian Rankin, and considering I'm only 20 miles down the road, it's a surprise. Signed Philippa Gregory. So a lot of signed books in amongst this, which is quite impressive. What I'd be interested to know is how long you've been sitting on them. How long has it taken to get these sold? Because that's key. I mean, if you can sit on them for as long as it takes to sell them, great, go for it. I am all for that. Get as much money out of them as you can. But I'm also really curious to know as to how far down you need to bring that price to get it to go in a month. So that's the difference. You can get 30 quid if you sit on it for a year, or a tenner if you put it out within a month. And that's the difference. So there's, you know, Peter May, £10. That feels about right for a Peter May book, but you're still probably looking at 2 or 3 months for that one to head out the door. So what would it take to sell it fast? Do you end up selling it for normal hardback price? So anyway, that is a wee look at Zenmitor. So it's Zenitor_0 if you're looking for the buyer. Zenmitor is the name of the store. They've sold over 1,000 items. Good feedback, quite a few people following, and quite a lot of interesting items in there. So yeah, worth a wee nosy. And if anyone else wants me to have a nosy at their store, I am more than happy to do so. You might even have something that I like. Anyway, that is all for today. This has probably been quite a long video with all the different bits and pieces crammed into it. So I'll leave you in peace. Enjoy your weekend, although I'll no doubt see you tomorrow. Alright, okay, see ya. Love ya. Bye.